The Confusion Around Twin Flames, by Ascension LightWorkers. There is so much false and incorrect information about twin flames, it's a collective distorted depiction. It's time to bring in truth, clarity, and broaden our perspectives in this collective false narrative of sugar-coated twin flames. It's time to bring in universal truth to these false stereotypes. On your quest to find your true twin flame, you'll probably encounter some false twins along the way. In the beginning, you might think they're your true flame, but over time their inconsistencies and lack of commitment and support will cause you to doubt them. This can be a painful process, especially if you truly yearn to meet your genuine twin flame. In searching for their spiritual partner, some people will encounter a false twin flame or what is also known as a karmic connection. Because a false twin flame is also a karmic past life connection that allows us to work through our issues and lessons before the real life partner or true twin flame arrives on the scene. Each time here on Earth we incarnate from where we left off the last time we were here. This means previous connections we didn't learn lessons from will be the very people we gravitate to the most in this life. We will encounter the very same ones until the lessons are learned, healed, and transmuted into love, light, and healing. It takes developed consciousness on both sides, both people doing the inner work required. However, if they are karmic, or a false twin flame connection, then the same lessons are waiting. It usually takes the unsuspecting party to eventually realize they are being tricked into a false reality to cater for the other's needs only. Quite often wounded children grow up to eventually as an adult go on to play the role as a caretaker or parent role in the connection. This is because they need to feel loved and valued for what they do, never feeling good enough for their parent growing up. These false soul types can talk the talk, but they do not walk the walk. They are off their spiritual path and are trying to get you off of yours by continually bringing in dysfunction around you and themselves. With a karmic or false twin flame, issues from the past will start to arise. They will bring up traumas, anxieties, and hurt that you have previously experienced, rather than forcing you to work on current and future problems. There is no real security in these types of relationships. These energy vampires are unable to attain the spiritual evolution required of a true spiritual partnership. Sadly, once they establish the connection, a karmic or false twin flame will feed and host on your light as long as you allow this. There will be little sustainability. A false twin flame will have similar characteristics to the people in your family or those close to you. The relationship will eventually deplete and drain your energy resources, and poor health soon follows. A karmic or false flame will sometimes use the connection as a way to justify their bad, destructive behavior towards you and the relationship. You may have great chemistry, but scratch the surface, and there is little depth in anything else. A true twin flame is not just about sex. It's about two consciously evolving souls committed to ascending together for the highest and greater good, not just for themselves. They are extremely rare, and most social media platforms have sensationalized this scared meaning, leaving most feeling confused and not aware they are being manipulated into ideas and concepts that sound like a fairy tale they can eventually walk into. The twin flame talk is of runners and chasers, lots of labels, etc., etc. All of this is a consumer gimmick that can leave you wasting precious time and years of your life waiting in false hope that they will miraculously wake up and become who you want and need them to be rather than accepting them for who they really are, as that's a frightening thought. Because with this runner-chaser talk, what is really happening behind the scenes is one party is leaving their options open and are not sure what or who they still want, as they embody the grass is greener on the other side syndrome. Many spiritual platforms like to use the twin flame talk, but what they don't tell you or know themselves is the runner is not doing their shadow inner work. They are an ego. They are the tricksters and twin flame talk imposters, as this can be useful in their predatory talk to win you over. Truth is, you can find most of them all in the narcissistic narrative and cluster B type personalities, as their behaviors are a match to this idealized twin flame behavior. The karmics and false flames do all of this in subtle manipulation, so we eventually accept their deceitful behaviors. Unfortunately, many ascending souls with high empathy can play for the biggest targets and easy bait for these types of individuals. Most of them have dark attachments. Our attraction to them comes from the part our own dark side that is stored in the subconscious mind and mental paradigm, the place in us that still needs healing. It's this part that finds them attractive, the dark and unhealed parts of ourselves. If you have a strong lustful and sexual relationship based in ego with them, then it most likely is a false twin flame or karmic connection. This is to bring you the lessons required for your further evolutionary growth. These type of connections develop strong trauma bonds and soul ties that are extremely difficult to release and detach yourself from. These connections are full of codependency addictions, unhealthy attachments, insecurities, and ego-based wants, needs, and desires, and they are not of the light. While authentically ascending, we are extremely responsible to protect ourselves from these energy exchanges. Have you noticed that with most so-called twin flames, nothing makes sense? They are mostly confused, scattered, and all over the place. This is because they are experiencing cognitive dissonance, not knowing what's real and what's not, and they are unaware of the true story playing out behind the scenes. Their hearts are hungry, so they are prepared to eat the lies just to get a dopamine and cortisol hit in the brain as all this develops unhealthy addictions. They can feel desperate for this connection, causing withdrawals, etc. When something or someone is healthy for you and is a balanced match, you will not feel flighty, unbalanced, dysregulated, confused, etc. As these are all signs that the people and the connection are toxic and coming from unhealed parts of yourself. So it's time to address the shadow within and do the inner work needed, because until we heal these inner wounds, we will continuously meet a mirror match to our unhealed parts of self. After a while, over time, these people will not take you seriously or care about your own feelings, needs, and wants. They eventually overpower you and barely leave you with a resemblance of who you were before you met them. They are soul-destroying. Over time in this kind of relationship, they will lack the consistent work and effort needed to develop a genuine bond between the two of you. Just when you think you are taking a step forward, they make sure you have taken 10 steps back. The false twin and karmic energy is emotionally draining. There is always way too much unnecessary drama and dysfunction going on. Always. However, a false twin flame or a karmic partner knows how to win the manipulation game with you. They know when to throw attention at you and then how to reel you back in with another crumb thrown your way. We can attract these type of people in life, especially if we have an abandonment wound and neglect wound, past trauma from a parent, particularly the mother. In your unknowing, you will search for this love all your life until you heal the wound within you. You will continuously attract a mirror image of the person presenting the same lessons and recycling the same pain back to you. This is why it is extremely important to heal the inner child woundings. If we don't do this inner work, we will carry, project, and reflect them in life with us, and wherever we go, the people and places we encounter along the way will be a subconscious match to the unhealed parts of ourselves. Being around them long term will bring you tremendous stress, fear, and anxiety. They are extremely damaging for your mental well-being as well as your spiritual and physical health. You find you can't fully be yourself with them on a long-term basis, as you will most likely be pleasing them to be who they want you to be for themselves. A karmic and false twin flame will bring in the same energy and lessons in your life. These people were only put into your life for you to recognize your own values and where and why you were stripped of your self-beliefs, the self-confidence, as these people have been extremely threatened by your natural inner light as they don't embody this. They eventually gain a deep-seated need to continuously punish you for it, even if it is in a coercive way, and it usually is like that. Manipulators know what they are doing. They will turn the coercive abuse on and off like a tap, so over time it makes you accept their poor and childish behavior. They can cause you to fear speaking up for yourself, or simply just being yourself, for fear of repercussions. They are not bringing out the best in you, instead they are causing you to shrink smaller. This makes them more comfortable with who they are. Over time, you become focused on pleasing them and making them happy regardless of the cost to yourself and your well-being. Long term, this will leave you feeling depleted, anxious, all the while they are feeding and siphoning your energy to a point where it totally depletes yours. They will seem to have much more over time and you will have much less. With so much hype in social media about twin flames, it's important to keep in mind that relationships with an empath and a narcissist, especially if they are covert and show the softer, more vulnerable side of themselves. The wolves in sheep clothing amongst us and disguise themselves well in society, giving a false impression. They are the most difficult to detect in life. This will definitely replicate a karmic connection and a false twin flame relationship. Unfortunately, there is so much false and incorrect information in the collective with the behavior patterns of a twin flame. This gives the narcissistic people a lot of excuses from the empaths, as they can be desperate enough to keep believing them. This is to avoid the inner pain and distracting themselves from doing the inner shadow work. Both the narcissist and empath's wound is the same, however, they are completely different people. The attraction at first will be strong until they both realize that they are not in alignment to the truth. As it's not possible when you're living a life with someone false or with a narcissistic person. There is a great confusion in this area, and one to keep in mind. A false twin flame will make you focus a great deal of yourself on them, and make you and your world feel rather small over time. You will eventually feel like isolating yourself from most others. With a karmic and false flame, you will constantly feel uncertain about the relationship, where it's going, and whether your partner is the right one for you. This uncertainty can be a real burden, and leads to a lack of self-worth, and self-confidence diminishes over time, as the struggle with deep feelings of confusion continue. A true twin flame will come at a time in your life when you're both ready to expand and help others. When your heart is open and ready to receive true love. They will bring out the very best in you and your qualities, talents, and gifts. They will be a catalyst for your deep desire to help those around you and bring in strength, happiness, and empowerment to not just yourself, but others as well. It's wise to know the difference. Relationships can only ever work when two individuals have the same genuine intention to grow and evolve together. The truth is, the twin flame journey is about you, the catalyst for your own inner work. The truth about twin flames is it takes two highly evolved and conscious people to merge in higher union and fulfill their sacred purpose here on earth. They both embody the twin flame activation codes in Christ consciousness, and this is extremely rare. On this planet, in fact, you would be surprised in knowing just how few there really are. Don't buy into this hype. If you met or meet someone, keep in mind there is always something we can learn from them, without putting unnecessary labels on types of people or couples. Ultimately, this is your journey to awaken to truth and evolve into higher conscious awareness. Focus on a true and loving partner in life that you are in alignment with and a vibrational match to your desires and frequencies. And leave all these false twin flame narratives behind, as they are an incorrect depicted image of false collective information. Ultimately, we attract these types to learn the valuable lessons in life of self-love and self-acceptance. As we ascend, we no longer buy into what is popular in the New Age movement. We can only ascend in truth. We are the truth seekers on this planet. A long article, however, hoping it was helpful in shining some much-needed truth and light in these areas. Universal Truth and Awareness by Ascension LightWorkers.